Thank you, Pipers. Woo. Good afternoon. I am Adam Bunting, principal of Champlain Valley Union High School. It is my distinct honor to welcome you to the commencement of the class of 2018. Today, for these 303 fine young adults, we will pause to reflect, to express gratitude, to celebrate both their challenges and triumphs of their march to an interdependence that is as rich and varied as they are. As Mark Lang and Stephanie Joseph and Ben Stevens and Sarah Lancaster encouraged us to do 2 nights ago, we will ask our seniors now to stand and to give a loud and unabashed thanks to the parents, guardians, siblings, teachers, mentors, coaches, friends, loved ones, all the people who made today joyful for them. Seniors, please stand up and give this crowd a cheer. And I would ask the rest of the audience here to join them in standing. Everyone please stand. We are now going to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Sam Buzzle and Sarah Music.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're going to stand again in just a moment for the national anthem sung by Shay Dunlop, Weller Henderson, and Alexa Kartshow.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Please be seated. I would now ask Ben King to come to the stage to deliver the welcome.
Hello, and welcome to the CVU graduation for the class of 2018. My name is Ben King, and I've had the privilege and pleasure of going to school with all of these young adults sitting in front of you today. Some I've known since 2nd grade, others I just began to talk to this year. And with every one of them that I talked to, I learned more and more about the class of 2018. Each individual member of this class contributes to the CVU community, a community that after 4 years, I can say I'm proudly glad to be a part of. Graduation is a time of celebration and unity. It's the last time that you're required to see all of these people ever again. As fantastic, sad as that may be, it's also liberating. Everyone here has their own reasons for being excited or sad about leaving, and we're all entitled to that. But we often forget the community that we've established here together. We all find comfort in familiarity. And for us students, our comfort is our friends we see at school, the places we hang out, the same food and schedule. This routine that we often complain about, especially as seniors, we internally take for granted. As annoying as it is in the moment, we'll miss our nice, comfy routine. However, the best part about change is just that, the change part. In high school, we've had our people and our space. Whether it's the band room, the library, Bristol Bakery, or the Jiffy Mart, we're never too far from home. In the fall, we embark on new journeys with new people and new places, and we may feel far from home, but that's just because we haven't made our new homes yet. New is not always bad. Different is not always comfortable. But if high school has taught us anything, it's that no matter what class, what grade, what situation, individually, we can all find our people. We can make new connections, bond over a binge Netflix series, or just be around each other until we physically are forced to get along. Everyone will find their place, I'm sure of it. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, and welcome to the CVU graduation.
Iris Mann.
Hello, class of 2018, and all of the people who have gotten us here. I must begin with a disclosure. Midway through my sophomore year, I cheated on CVU. Yes, I know it was wrong. Of course, I feel guilty. But at that time in my high school career, I felt isolated and bored. As I began touring other schools, thinking that maybe a change of scenery, different curriculum, or peer group might change my lease on life, as I was searching, I realized the qualities I was seeking in my perfect school sounded a lot like CVU. An amazing faculty, out-of-classroom learning experiences, and a flexibility that allowed me to pursue my passions. Spoiler alert, I stayed at CVU. Junior year rolled around, and I found myself immersed in a challenging yet awesome course load, surrounded by the most supportive people, and genuinely content. So what changed? I did. I realized a place doesn't define your experience. You do, but it makes it much easier when it's a place like CVU. My family offered me a bucket. This school showed me plenty of ways to fill it, but I had to be the one to pick and choose what I wanted to weed out or add. So why am I talking about my fruitful, albeit not always amicable past with good old CVU? To reinforce that the person standing before you is a typical, and therefore flawed human being. During my search for next year's options, I got bogged down in frivolous details, like the age of the library, dorm room countertops, and the list goes on. I thought I had found the perfect step for my next year. Too bad that perfect step happened to actually be perfect for a few hundred other individuals other than myself. Thinking back to all the tearful FaceTimes, emotional runs, and procrastinated homework, I'm so sorry, Ms. Sherwin. I think it's fair to say many of us felt frustrated or scared surrounding after high school plans. I stayed in a proverbial funk for far longer than I'd care to admit, given the fact I had some prior experience with this type of dilemma. Eventually it hit me. I wasn't too crazy about spending my future here at CVU a couple of years ago, but as I refocused my energy from does it have everything I want to what can I get out of this experience, things began to fall into place. So I pushed forward. It's what my mom used to call gambate, a Japanese term for perseverance. I promise I'm not telling you this because I think I'm remotely qualified to give life advice. But as someone who likes to process out loud, I thought it would be fitting to reflect my process with all of you. I don't know about you, but I was often told that it's fine to make mistakes, but never make the same mistake twice. Well, clearly, that lesson didn't stick with me. Here I was, worrying about the perfect fit again. That's when I realized what's important about making a mistake is not how many times you make it, but the way in which you recover. In fact, the more you make a mistake, often the deeper the understanding. And also, I also realized that this recovery is typically a 3% change in the real world and a 97% shift in one's own mindset. For many of my amazing peers, next year looks very different. Going to a Peruvian rainforest to do sustainability research, entering the workforce, joining the armed forces, or continuing our years in academia. But I hope we can all go into our next steps realizing that making mistakes is inevitable, and sometimes we'll make those mistakes again and again. But it's our human quality to forgive ourselves and persist that allows us to fix those mistakes. For me, my mistake reaffirmed that I can be fulfilled and challenged wherever I go to school next year, because I will choose to be fulfilled and challenged. Thank you so much. We did it!
Thank you, Iris. Willow Goldberg, come on up.
Hi, my name is Willow Goldberg. A furry short friend with 2 horns and 4 hooves. It's a farm animal that likes to baa. I got the opportunity this year to work with the CVU goats. Let me tell you, it wasn't pleasant at first. I love animals, don't get me wrong, but slipping down that snowy hill was not fun. I'd get to class soaked and cold. Pretty miserable, right? But I kept caring for those goats. Even though I was frustrated most times, I was committed. I knew that they relied on me. Everyone may know when times get rough that animals will unconditionally love you. Being responsible for those goats made me feel a little better each day. Throughout my high school experience, I have faced many challenges. One of them was losing my father. I couldn't stop him from doing drugs, but I could do something that made him proud. I dedicated myself to do good in school. Even if I had a huge paper or I got distracted in class, I would still try. We all need that one thing to hold on to, the one thing that defines us as a person. Addiction killed my father, but it didn't kill him. The part my father held on to, the part that will live on no matter what in the hearts and minds of others, is his example of love. For my dad, the one thing was love. It was his responsibility to be a good father. No matter what, even when I didn't live with him, he kept a journal for me. Here's a small but mighty sample. Dear child of mine, I miss you every second. I will always love you, Willow Sierra Goldberg. I will always think of you. Love, Dada. So why am I telling you this? You are going through huge transitions. It's the beginning of adulthood, where your life is in your hands. That's scary. And the only advice I can give you is the advice I've learned myself. Pick one thing, one strong value to hold on to. For my dad, it was a love that made him, him. For me, it was committing to schoolwork, the one thing I could control. I wasn't living at home, conflict was all around me, I needed to ground myself. So I chose something I could control over when all else was at sea. It helped me too, because I didn't want to make the same mistakes he made. This is about commitment. You keep trying and connect to that positive value, no matter what. Like taking care of those darn goats. Also, you have to make others know not just your one thing, but where you are emotionally, what you're going through. Make yourself not be alone. This was my light in the darkness, committing to a positive value and letting others into my life. I can remember crying in class and a teacher reaching out to me saying, "It's okay to cry." Friends, family, teachers, grab it all. Take advantage of help when you need it. As I close in giving my advice, I want to turn to thank you. Thank you, CVU. You guys have been a great support system. Along with those goats, I am so grateful to have had you guys. Thank you.
They know what's happening right now. Okay, we're at a graduation. Stop crying. You can do it. All right, a gift from the departing senior class will be presented by Haley Close and Alex Lynn.
Good afternoon, friends, families, and graduates. My name is Haley Kloss.
And I'm Alex Lynn.
The senior class of 2018 has ended this year with $6,000 to leave a gift for CVU. We've decided that this year, this money will be given to the CVU Sustainability Hub.
The Sustainability Hub is an extension of Dave Trevithick's Natural Resources class that expands personalized learning far beyond the four walls of a classroom, creates more equity for students at CVU, and continues to address food insecurity through its Farm to School program. This course prepares CVU students for a world where environmental conservation and positive action are both desperately needed.
In my junior year, I designed and facilitated the planting of an apple orchard on campus. These apples will eventually be used in the CVU cafeteria. Similarly, as Willow said, goats were brought onto the campus in order to rid the grounds of poisonous parsnip in an environmentally friendly way. We love our goats. I'm sure many students could tell you a story or two about going out behind the school and visiting the goats and chickens that we have on campus. Countless other environmental studies projects like these have been completed by students in the past, but there is still a lot to come. These are unique experiences that teach students how to interact with the world they live in, which is an incredibly important aspect of learning that is oftentimes neglected.
The class of 2018 hopes that future students may take this opportunity to have an impact on not only their school, but the entire world around them. CVU has continuously presented its students with the opportunity to experience learning in both an innovative and enlightening way that we hope to foster with this gift. Thank you.
We have an honored speaker this afternoon, and we are going to have Tess Cloutier and Emma Ramirez-Richer welcome our speaker. Come on up.
Emma and I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Chris O'Donnell. We have both taken her Make It of the Modern World class here at CVU, loved it, and came back to serve as teaching assistants this fall. Miss O'Donnell certainly has been a history teacher here at CVU for 43 years. For those who have the honor of knowing her, know that she is filled with wisdom. There is no doubt that she rules the annex, or as she calls it, the Wild West. Every year for a week, she converts the entire building into a small-scale Silk Road and is even claimed to have crashed there while her house was being winterized.
Every time I walked into Mrs. O'Donnell's annex clubhouse, I knew I was in for a surprise. I'd walk in, and sometimes a student would write a O'Donnell of the day on the board. A funny, crazy quote from eccentric Mrs. O'Donnell, taken completely out of context. Something like, hummus will bring world peace, or it'd be great if we could get some llamas and ride around the parking lot. It was always followed by a, I said that? It was the best after lunch activity to first sit and chat with Mrs. O'Donnell about anything and everything, about school, about sports, about the state of the world, and then to settle down, sit back, and enjoy a lecture about spice traders, the Renaissance, or the Islamic Caliphate. Mrs. O'Donnell is one of those teachers that somehow has all knowledge packed into her brain. Dates and names of everything completely memorized. A plus to having Mrs. O'Donnell as a teacher was that you barely had to take notes to remember the facts. The stories she told us were just so vivid and memorable on their own.
Every class was a cliffhanger. You never knew where or when she was going to transport us next. Of course, a consistency was the daily name drop of her favorite historian, Jared Diamond. Miss O'Donnell certainly had her own particular way of transporting us back in time. We used all of our 5 senses. In one activity, we were cryptically handed shreds of brown paper towels from the school's cafeteria and black markers. As we listened to her vivid description of the Black Death, we were to draw what we imagined. This art was to hang in the school's bathrooms to remind kids to always wash their hands.
We had to hear the medieval times as well. How else to accomplish this but to spend an entire class period listening to variations of O Fortuna on YouTube? I've got to say that intense medieval melody will be imprinted on my brain forever. However, I don't know if it was because of Mrs. O'Donnell's persistent teaching style or the fault of YouTube autoplay. I've learned you can't quite judge a teacher by their computer skills or lack thereof. As our 4-year journey here at CVU is ending, Mrs. O'Donnell's 4-year journey as an educator comes to a close as well. I can't begin to predict what she is about to say to you guys today, but I know it will be the perfect combination of wisdom, amusement, and fun. Here is the illustrious Chris O'Donnell.
Hi, everybody. Before I start my remarks, am I too loud? Before I start my remarks today, I'd like to take a moment to honor another person who's leaving us today. You may or may not know her, Joan Lennis. Joan Lennis may not be a household name for you, but she has been on every board of every CVU or our district we can speak of. She's a representative from Shelburne, and in all those capacities, she has been the #1 advocate for you and for me and for us and for all of us. She is steadfastly supporting the quality of learning and students and education throughout her career. So we have a lot to thank for her. And while I've got, and the other person, I don't know if you noticed that Andre LaChance, full of hot air, is on the bagpipes today. So, show him the skirt, come on. Well, as you heard, I've been teaching for 43 years, and I'm retiring today, and I have cold feet. I'm just getting the hang of it. You know, after all this time, I was just getting good, you know, so I'm kind of sad about that. And the other thing is, I kind of thought adulthood would come in. You know, I thought I'd grow up. And you should probably grow up before you retire, you know? It seems so, but that's not going to happen. But if it hasn't happened now. But let me tell you, the reason I've decided to go on with this because of you guys, the class of 2018. You are amazing. I couldn't pick. I could not have picked a better year to retire. This has been a watershed year for high school activism around the nation and at CVU. The political landscape is transforming right in front of our eyes as high school kids struggle with such social issues as school security, sexual harassment, sustainability, Black Lives Matter, gender equity. There's so many more. Climate change, on and on and on we go. And it has been amazing to watch you, the class of 2018, assert yourself as real-world leaders addressing real-world issues with real-world impacts. I got to tell you, it's amazing to watch this. You have displayed an amazing array of organizational skills and strategies. You've committed extraordinary effort and passion and time to activities that don't even bear credit or assessment or grading. You guys have already walked out of the classroom into the real world. You have organized clubs and projects and fundraisers and trips. You've been using all kinds of effort and passion in these activities. We've had several members of our class go to the State House for advocacy or witnessing and hearings and so on. So you have committed, you have, lost my place. Many of you have gone to professional conferences, seminars, workshops as participants and as leaders. All of this you have done with very little adult involvement. Some students have served as consultants to the Agency of Education. Parents, community, all of you, at CVU, we have witnessed an impressive example of civic engagement, and we should all be so proud of them. Give it up for this class. At convocation the other night, Ben Stevens characterized your class as a class of doers, that you just do it and you get it done. We know you as a class that not only helps other people, but they help each other with and for all kinds of support. You're kind of known as the nice class, the good class, the easygoing class of 2018, and I couldn't agree with anyone more. So the other day, I was talking to one of your very politically active students from CVU, and I kind of apologized to her about our generation. And I said, geez, I'm sorry we're leaving you such a big mess, you know? And you're gonna have, your generation's gonna have to pick it up. And she turned to me and she looked at me and she said, I don't see it that way. We're not doing this because we need to. We're doing this because we want to. Think of that. Folks, parents, neighbors, teachers, these children are our future. And I don't know about you, but I find a great sense of comfort to see such energy, talent, passion, and commitment with which this generation is addressing its future already. We don't do this, I'm sorry. Suffice it to say that I, for one, am very grateful that you asked me to be with you for a very small slice of this momentous time. So I thank you for that. To be honest to you, I really was having trouble figuring out what to say today. Now, if you know me, you know I have a lot to say. So that's not the problem. I'm supposed to give out advice, but any of you who know me know that the quantity of my advice far exceeds its quality. Keenan knows well. He takes some of my advice. And then, of course, I'm still struggling with this a little bit. And one of my students, and you guys kind of encapsulated, one of my students once said about me, Chris can talk forever and ever about absolutely nothing at all and make it interesting. So that really didn't help me at all. And so I was getting a little nervous about what to do. And this is the honest truth. It finally hit me. It was crystal clear what I had to do. And this was at 9 o'clock last night. I have something I want to say to you. And when I say you, I am sorry for the rest of you. It's you, the students, okay? And I'm not saying it just to you, but I'm saying it to all the students, all 4,500 of the students that I have taught in the past. So are you ready? This is what I have to say to you. Thank you. My gift to you is my gratitude. I've been teaching for 43 years, and I think the scale is tipping. Because I realized this year, for the first time, that I am now learning more from you than you are from me. There's a saying out there that says, a teacher's job is to become unnecessary. I think I'm there. I think I am unnecessary. But I've been pretty unnecessary for a long time, if you want to think about it. And especially my debate team will appreciate this, but a lot of the students will as well. This is my style. It's intentional, but it's my style. I like to kind of set up what we're doing or what we need to do, provide the resources, and then basically get out of the way. And if you remember this, and I try to avoid answering any questions. And let you figure it out. And so that's, I have been setting aside a little bit. But I feel like I've done my bit. I feel like my job is done. And one of the reasons my job is done is because, and one of the reasons I'm thanking you today, because you have taught me so much, so many, many lessons. Even as I was walking out of the school today, I had a student teaching me about something or other, I don't know. I've left you a gift, okay? And if you don't want the gift, don't throw it away, re-gift it to somebody else. But I very, very briefly would like to tell you about a couple of the lessons that you have given me. So I'm going to start talking kind of quickly, if you don't mind, follow along if you can, sorry. I'm a young teacher. I really love teaching. I'm working really hard. I think I'm a really good teacher. We have 40-minute classes back then, and I was talking like this the whole time, and then Mrs. O'Donnell, back up the cart. You're going too fast. And I was like, oh. There was a lot of lessons I learned then, a lot of lessons about teaching. And 5 minutes, I can do the whole French Revolution in 5 minutes, honest, I can. And, right, Amy? And that really helped me a lot as a teacher, you telling me this. But I want to just talk about that for a minute. Think about it. Back up the cart. I just think about that in your life. Sometimes it's important to back up. Sometimes it's important to slow down. Sometimes it's important to stop. And we live in a culture where we think the only good way to go is forward. Forward is progress. Failure to go forward is failure. And backing up is hard. It's not easy and it's slow, but I suspect in your life you will find a time when it seems kind of weird, but the best thing for you to do will be to back up or slow down or take another route and go slower. So that was one big lesson. A second lesson I got, I'm not going to say any names, but it was Marco Ime. Marco Ime, and I just looked him up on the internet the other day. He was really smart. He went to MIT, he went to Stanford, he's got lots of patents, and now I can't understand anything else that I saw on his website. And he was passing in a test one day, and he says to me, you know what, Miss O'Donnell, words get in the way of my learning. What? I'm like, what? Words? What's life without words? I mean, talking and writing and listening and, conversation. How can you learn? How could I teach? I can't imagine this. And, now we understand so much about brain research and so on and so forth. Learn in different ways. So that's the second thing I learned. And guess what? There are a lot of us learn way better without words than with them. So that was another great lesson that I've carried with me, and I encourage you to as well. By the way, parents, everyone else, these are not just good lessons for you and me. I'm talking to them, but there's lessons that these are good for all of you as well. That's how good your kids have been. This one bothered me a lot and still does. And to this day, about an hour ago before I left CVU, I encountered this a similar situation. This was a kid, Joey his name was. He was in a U.S. history class, kind of quiet, nice kid, didn't do, he was good, and he got a C+. To you, where B+ is the new F. Seriously. C+ wasn't a bad grade at that point. It was the last day of school. He came in and he didn't complain. He wasn't there to complain. But he said, I really enjoyed your class this year. And then he said, but I have something I want to tell you. I've learned more than you know that I've learned. Oh, I still feel badly about that. He was learning this, I was teaching this. I was assessing this, he was learning this. And I've thought a lot about it. I continue to think about this. And I realize there's two sides to this story. One of them is yours, and one of them is mine. You, as a learner, have a responsibility to show what you know. We cannot read your minds. We don't know what's in there. So remember that when you're out there. Show what you know. And my job is to know what you've learned. And I figured out, really, with all this stuff we do with standard, all these things we do, there's only really one question that you can always use with great value. What have you learned? Now that question is a little more challenging than you think, and I think it's my job as a teacher to coach students to realize what they know. And so today I just had that very same situation with a kid, and so these lessons are very timely. The other one, Rourke talked about this at Convocation the other day, and he said, make memories. And this is also a student I shouldn't name, Ben Remeka, the uncle to Ben Stevens. And if there's any family members here, let's not let truth get in the way of a good story right now. If I'm doing this wrong or inaccurately, talk to me about it later, okay? But this is the way I remember it. Ben didn't make it to his final exams because his grandfather was ill and dying. So he came in later on, and he came in and he talked to us, and he's a really nice guy, and very seriously he said, I've learned something. He said, I've learned that you have to make your own memories. They just don't happen. You have to make them. And so I did my little bit by giving you a little card there to help you start to make your memories. And Rourke joins me in appreciating the value of that. The last one I want to share with you is a big one and a really important one. The other day, he came up and said, I liked your class, Mrs. O'Donnell. And she said, and this is why, you made room in the room for me. You made room in the room for me. And I knew just what she was saying. This is a girl who held very has strong opinions, very unpopular opinions for most kids at CVU. And when she expresses her opinions, sometimes she gets a little resistance. And as a First Amendment defender, I'm always make sure my students give respect and tolerance. Tolerance is the tough one. To anyone who's listening. And so I ask you all to remember that lesson as well. I could speak more. There's so many more of these lessons out there, but we're running out of time. And at this point, I would like to, there's 4,000 of you here. I really only want to have this private conversation with these kids, but I can't ask you to step out. So I'm just going to let you listen in, okay? So here's the deal. Ready? I'll be back. When I was your age, I really thought that I was going to have this incredibly adventuresome life. I like the outdoors, I always have. And I thought I'd be traveling all over the place and wouldn't be living in the same place at the same, and just and exploring places. I'd have retired by now. I would be very rich by now. And, well, this is how it went. I started at CVU right out of student teaching. I was there for 43 years. I lived in the same house for 43 years. I drove the same ride to school for 43 years. I've been married to the same husband for 43 years. I've had the same children their own life, trying to think about how you can trade them out every once in a while, and the point I'm trying to make is I haven't had that adventuresome life that I thought I would. Just the truth. But somewhere along the line, I decided I could do something about this. And then I decided to make every day some little adventure. Maybe just something I read, just some adventure. Maybe it was, to me, just jump into the woods somewhere and have a little adventure. And it turns out there's ventures everywhere. And now I'm being serious about this. And in my teaching, and you guys totally get it. In my teaching, I intentionally make sure for every single class I teach, we're not quite sure what's going to happen. And the way, yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yes. So I'm not quite sure what's ever going to happen. And the way you can make sure that happens is by conversation. Our brains love to clink and clink and clink, and that's what it is. And then it got so, my adventuring has gotten so big that I've become an adventure to myself. I don't know what I'm going to say when I open my mouth, and so it's really pretty impressive. A few years ago, I decided physically I wanted to have adventures, and I decided the best I could do under the limits that I live with is to try to hike and bike and ski and whatever in every town in the state of Vermont. I've done about 150 towns. I have about 130 to go. And Leith Tonino, a former CVU student and the brother to Molly Tonino, teacher here, former CVU student, wrote an article about me a couple of years ago. And I guess I kept saying, just bump into life a lot. And so he named his article, Just Bump Into Life. I wasn't even aware I was saying this, but he made me aware of my own anthem. So this is my challenge to you folks. Get out there. Go out and bump into life. Go out and talk to people. Go out and ask questions of people. Go out and talk to people who are different ages than you are. Go out and walk into buildings. Walk into a church. Walk into a hospital. Walk into a museum. Go into the lake. Go into the mountains. Don't break any laws, but snoop around a lot. I could stay for another hour telling you the things that have happened to me. It's all fun. Don't do anything illegal. I'm going to repeat that one. Get into the woods. Get into the lake. And let me just tell you this. You cannot do this. You cannot bump into life if with your handheld devices. Life is not at your fingertips. Life is out there. So, class of 2018, you have abundantly given us evidence that you are ready to move on. So, I, for one, am going to get out of your way and let you get on with it. I can't wait to see what you come up to. I'm not going to say goodbye because maybe I'll bump into you, or better off, we will bump into each other.
The mic drop. Just out of curiosity, how many here have been taught by Chris O'Donnell? Raise your hand. Look around. Quite a few. So Chris, you may think you've done your bit, but your work is going to go on and on and on and on. We love you very much, Chris. Thank you. I want to honor two groups now. So I'm going to list a few names. Chiara Antonoli, Catherine Ash, Victoria Bergstein, Cooper Birdsall, Sarah Claus, Anna Cornish, Thomas Daly, Renee Dowerman, Molly Duncan, Shay Dunlop, Connor DeRocha, Logan Griswold, Lindsay Hayes, Grace Helmgarn, Weller Henderson, Jennifer Ireland, Emily Mason, Paige Nikaros, Helena Verchese Clark, Coco Verchese Clark, and Campbell Whalen are summa cum laude students. Congratulations and nice job. That is a huge number of students to achieve a 4.1 or higher. And it'd be hard not to recognize that group without recognizing another group. And so I think about the academic excellence that your class has shown. I think about the talents, the diversity of gifts that we celebrated at Convocation. But to me, the most telling thing about your class was what happened when Willow stopped speaking today. When you rose to cheer on your classmate, living our ideals, taking care of yourselves, taking care of each other, and taking care of the place. And I know that doesn't happen without the inspiration of those people right there. So please congratulate your teachers, thank them, they are amazing. In particular, of that group, I would like to have Irene Bihun, Donna Fournier, Chris O'Donnell, Linnell Villaseca, and Julie Bevins. Please rise. They have worked tirelessly for you and are on to their next adventures to bump into life. And I would be remiss if we also did not give Gina Gale a round of applause also. All right, you ready? Enough talking. Let's do this thing. First, I'd like to introduce the folks on stage, so more talking. On stage, we have Lynn Jonick, Dave Connery, Jeff Martin, Ray Maynor, Colleen McKinnon, Gene Jensen, Norm McClure, and Chris O'Donnell, and the person who is going to read your names, Superintendent Elaine Pinckney. Elaine, come on up. One little thing first. We should probably graduate you officially. Dave Connery, can you stand up, please? Dave Connery, Chairman of the Board of Directors. These students have not only satisfactorily completed the prescribed course of study according to the requirements of the state of Vermont and the Board of School Directors of the Champlain Valley School District, but they have done so with inspiration, creativity, and collaboration. They have created a community of which they can be proud, and they will carry that ideal into their futures. Therefore, I recommend that they be recognized as the graduates of our high school, the class of 2018.
Thank you very much, Adam. But before I make this official, I also want to thank a few other people. At first, I want to thank our excellent staff and teachers off to my right, on stage left. You've challenged these young adults these past 4 years to arrive at this point. I also want to thank all the parents, family members, community members who have guided, led, and cajoled all of your children and charges to this point. And most importantly, I want to thank the young men and women sitting down right here in front of me. Representing the CVU class of 2018, your efforts and accomplishments and struggles to make it this far, you make this day, by far, I fumbled my favorite quote. Your struggles and accomplishments through these past 4 years make this day, as a school board member, and I know I speak for all my fellow board members, this is the best day to be a school board member. And therefore, Principal Bunting, it is with great pride and the utmost hope for the future that by virtue of the power invested in this high school as chairperson of its board of directors, I wholeheartedly accept your recommendation.
Would the first 20 graduates please approach the stage?
Jacob Abel Palmer. Connor F. Abrams. Devin Achilles. Lindsay A. Albertelli. Davis S. Allen. Casey J. Ammon. Kiara J. Antonoli. Catherine E. Ash. Elijah A. Ashley. Ashley N. Obi. Jared S. Avery. Sienna L. Bailey. Joseph H. Barber. Sophia A. Barton. Lillian K. Basie. Josephine L. Beresford. Victoria E. Bergstein. Gerald W. Berkowitz. Oliver H. Bajor. Cooper J. Birdsall. Alexandra D. Bisaccia. Baxter H. Bishop. Maxwell A. Bissonette. Nina I. Bitka. Kendall A. Blanc. Erica A. Bliss. David Satchel Blood. Annabelle H. Boisvert. Jack A. Bolduc. Cale D. Bombardier. Jacob L. Bortnick. Damian J. Bothwell. Jack W. Boynton. Nathaniel J. Brangan. Jacob E. Brassard. Walter L. Braun. William B. Braun. Jonah R. Breen. Tyler P. Brooks. Cole H. Brown.
Andrew Bruce is missing. Go to the next one.
Julia E. Bryant. Tori L. Buchter. Bethany D. Burbo. Tyrell J. Burnett. William J. Burrows. Christopher Bushnell. Ian C. Buxton.
Go back to Andrew. Andrew Bruce.
Andrew J. Bruce. Samuel T. Buzzle. Cole B. Casali. Henry W. Caswell. Logan R. Chalmers. Evan Chen. Sarah K. Kloss. Brian J. Clausen. Isaac A. Cleveland. Haley S. Kloss. Tess L. Cloutier. Sage C. Coates Farley. Nathaniel L. Coffin. John Z. Colt. Samuel J. Comey. Brenna Como. Kevin L. Conger. Anna E. Cornish. Lily Mae Cody. Olivia M. Cottrell. Samuel K. Kreitz. Brendan A. Cruz. Thomas A. Daly. Sophia Maria DiTilio. Renee C. Darman. Isabella M. Davitt. Madison L. Denton. Ariel M. DeSmet. Brandon J. Donahue. Spencer Dooley. Carolyn S. Drescher. Alice V. Drew. Erica E. Dubin. Olivia S. DeBrule. Nathaniel B. Dugan. Molly C. Duncan. Shay K. Dunlop. Garrett R. Dunn. Eli J. Dunphy. Natalie M. Durio. Connor R.C. DeRocha. Willow Q. East. Andre P. Eastman. Shania L. Elias. Harrison C. Falk. Eliza L. Fairs. Faith E. Fisher. Matthew J. Fisher. H. Rourke Flad. Ian T. Ford. Emma J. Fox. Josephine M. Fox. Abigail M. Francis. Brigham O. Francis. Quinn P. Francis. Cassandra M. Franklin. Alex P. Friedrichsen. Alethea A. Funkhauser. Sophia Fielder Garavaltis. Jesse C. Guerra. Samuel B. Jellin. Catherine E. Gingras. Jam Jabardo. Guinevere K. Jabardo. Willow S. Goldberg. Jeffrey M. Goldman. Jacob R. B. Goss. Paige M. Goss. Charles W. Greenlease. Logan J. Griswold. Kayla L. Gusek Nasad. Claire E. Gugerty. Lauren C. Hanley. Allie M. Hardy. Stephen B. Harlow. Louis D. Haviland. Lindsay B. Hayes. Lena R. Heinrich. Grace L. Hemmelgarn. Weller T. Henderson. Matthew S. Herberg. Willem B. Hillier. Lucy C. Hines. Nathan B. Hodgson Walker. Emma T. Hockner. Sadie A. Hockner. Sarah A. Holm. Madeline A. Huber. Jennifer N. Ireland. Sophie D. Ireland. Holly A. Eisenberg. Francis G. Jarvis. Logan D. Gipner. Stephanie B. Joseph. Alexa M. Karchok. Jad M. Costi. Christopher E. Keene. Paul H. Keene. Annalisa G. Kinstedt. Benjamin R. King. Emily Kingston. Christopher M. Kinney. Lydia A. Kutras. Soren D. Kurth. Dylan M. LaBerge. Rosalie B. Lacrosse. Sarah J. Lancaster. Mark J. Lang. Isaiah C. Lawrence. Genevieve A. Lemieux. Peter T. Lambruno. Samuel J. Lambruno. Sarah A. Lewis. Nathaniel R. Littlefield. Ivan Lona. Jennings R. LaBelle. Jack H. Locker. Shannon M. Loiseau. Zachary P. Loiter. Fiona L. Love. Alexander S. Lynn. Andrea Macariello. Kevin J. Magnier. Callie T. Magoon. Eric C. Mahoney. Megan A. Mahoney. Jordan S. Maley. Lydia G. Maitland. Iris M. Mann. Corey Marshall. Cassie L. Martell. Emily K. Mason. Lucy A. Matthews. Liam M. McHugh. Olivia M. Mead. Bethany L. Merchant. Dylan C. Mercier. Nathaniel R. Mick. Ezra A. Miller. Sawyer Miller Bottoms. Lillian G. Minor. Elijah Mintz Roberts. Jacob O. Mintz Roberts. Gabriela E. Moreno. Calvin P. Morse. Kyler M. Murray. Sarah Music. Julia E. Neild. Paige C. Miarcos. Hannah L. Nicholson. Samuel T. Noel. Natalie E. Norris. Callan J. O'Connell. Mia J. O'Farrell. Ethan W. Oglesby. Marley S. Olson. Isaac D. Paquette. Natalie C. Paquette. Madison E. Parker. Owen A. Pelkey. Noah E. Perrott. Nicholas A. Pino. Lauren E. Polk. Thomas M. Pudiak. Matthew P. Potter. Damon M. Prue. Rebecca A. Provost. Alexandra A. Quat. Emma M. Ramirez Richer. Liam Perry Reiner. Kai M. Rainsborough. Keenan M. Rainsborough. Maya M. Rendall. Rafael D. Ribeiro. Bella M. Riley. Kyle J. Rivers. Megan Marie Robert. Morgan A. Roberts. Eli M. Rod. Jaden M. Rogers. Emma Rosenau. Abigail N. Rosenthal. Courtney Ann Roy. Zachary W. Roy. Michael J. Russo. Jacqueline R. Ryan. Hannah A. Ryder. Luca D. Scheid. Douglas W. Schmidt. Clara J. Schultz. Danielle A. Scribner. Wyland B. Siebert. Janine A. Shows. Andrew W. Silverman. Matthew B. Silverman. Josephine M. Sinopoli. Jace W. Slesser. Hunter J. Smith. Tyler D. St. Hilaire. Scott A. Stanley. Benjamin G. Stevens. Aruna Walks Tyrese Stewart. Blaine P. Surdak. Jacob M. Sweeney. Hannah N. Sweat. Clarence J. Talbot. Angela Tarciano. Charles H. Tegetts. Jack T. Tenda. Lucian A. Terrio. Mary D. Titus. Adelaide G. Tensing. Thierry A. Tomasi. Evan L. Tremblay. Peter C. Tremblay. Ryan M. Truss. Jonathan J. Twombly. Zachary N. Urbitel. Danielle M. Urban. Nathaniel O. Van Buren. Cody A. Van Dyke. Helena Verchese Clark. Kalena Versace Clark. Kevin Eric Verino. Francis A. Vigoro. Sydney O. Vincent. Olivia V. Voth. Jonathan H. Walsh. Joseph F. Warren. Aaron M. Watson. Megan D. Watson. Preston S. Webb. Samuel A. Weiss. James A. Wernhoff. Paul J. West. Campbell C. Whalen. Denver Wiederin. Blaine C. Wigmore. Henry H. Wilson. Susanna T. Zimmerman. Thomas H. Zick.
All right, don't get too excited. Sit back down, sit back down. We have one more address left. Walter Braun.
Wow. A week ago, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to talk about. Thankfully, though, this past weekend I got the opportunity to watch my oldest sister graduate from college. During the event, I listened to a variety of very fantastic speeches. My favorite, though, Mindy Kaling. Mindy prefaced her speech by saying that she had no recollection of not only who spoke at her graduations, but what they were saying. What I derived from this is that the information I share today won't necessarily be relatable to every individual in the room. Rather, the lessons we learn in life through individual processing and for personal experience, that is what constructs the foundation of our growth. I guess that's where I come in. Growing up, I always seemed to be at the tail end of a humiliating or embarrassing story. Whether thinking it would be funny to incessantly ask personal questions about couples' relationships at a family dinner, wearing a Batman cape until I was 5 years old, which actually happened, or showing up to school without an eyebrow one day because my mom accidentally shaved it off trying to give me a haircut. One thing's for certain, being alive only 18 years, embarrassing myself seems to be something I'm pretty good at. These instances are drastically different, but uniquely similar, in that they played an instrumental role in my personality and character development. To me, the significance of embarrassment is that whenever this very uncomfortable feeling shows up, it not only exposes a part of me that I either feel very uncomfortable, but it also tries to hide a part of me that I'm unaware of. Feeling embarrassed also alerts me to my own personal vulnerabilities, highlighting parts of myself that are in need of improvement and growth, which are a lot. As you may now imagine, those who know me well know that I've had my fair share of awkwardly humiliating and embarrassing stories. But there's one in particular that stands out to me the most. At our end of the lacrosse season in fourth grade, our team was celebrating and we walked over to Papa Nick's to have a creamy. So I remember one parent who was like, "Oh, I'm really stressed out, I need a vacation, I'm just so sick of work." Okay, well, naturally, I wanted to be helpful and help this parent out. So I remembered a commercial I saw on TV that depicted a middle-aged couple enjoying themselves in what looked like to be a calm and relaxed beach vacation. Assuming I was about to give this parent the keys to the Ferrari, I chimed in by blurting, yeah, Viagra, that's what you need. Yeah. No surprise, there was an eruption of laughter, which I naively chalked up to me being funny. Well, needless to say, when my mom told me what Viagra was actually used for on our car ride home, I was overwhelmed with embarrassment. In the future, I knew that I had to be a bit more cautious and judicious when offering unsolicited advice. Seriously though, even just saying this story now makes me cringe a little. I bet a lot of you can just see how red I'm getting. Kind of looks like my hair. Oh, Briggsy. I'm fine with that though, as we all should be. Because in the end, I believe that being able to capitalize on and learn from the many mistakes we are destined to make in our lives is crucial to our development. It is often undervalued, not just by us as individuals, but in the public and political sphere as well. We now live in a time where social media dictates us, driving us to post and present to the world our most perfect and polished selves. Even worse, our families, community members, political leaders, they also try and hide feelings of shame and embarrassment that they actually dismiss hard facts and truth by labeling any shame or regret as an alternative fact. This in turn perpetuates and justifies what I have experienced as an increasingly problematic pattern in my generation, where me and my peers, in striving to look and be perfect, essentially deny the most interesting and human parts about our personalities and character. Not only does our empty quest for that perfect Instagram post immediately turn itself into a disconnected disappointment, not only from ourselves, but from each other as well. It also does between each other. Now more than ever, it is on us, this graduating class, to embrace our imperfections, blunders, missteps, and faults, and our rejections and the wincing cringe we get from embarrassment and failure, and to do so only by extrapolating the lessons that will have the best impact on us. CVU's playful, uplifting, and unique environment has well equipped us all with this ability, so that you too can try to grow a beard like Dave T one day, although it probably won't be as good. If together we can find a way to elevate ourselves and those around us through acceptance, less judgment, and a lot of humor, maybe we can begin to dismantle this current culture of narcissism. In closing, I personally couldn't have asked for a better group of friends, peers, students, teachers, community members, and anyone else in this room to share my time at CVU with. Thank you all for helping me as I stumbled through the CVU halls, and to Tim Trevithick and Seth Emerson for keeping me in line. I hope that we can all take the risk of exposing our true and very imperfect selves, and maybe even share a couple of embarrassing stories with the friends. Or ask me if you want any, I got quite a list. I am beyond confident that this graduating class of 2018 will have a potent and positive impact on the world. Cheers, baby, let's go!
Will everybody please rise? Junior marshals and pipers, let's lead them out.